Yoga turns theology into practical experience. Yoga enables one to see the truth in all religions. Every religion preaches the 10 Commandments, but with different terms. However, the 2 highest commandments are those highlighted by Jesus. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22:37-39. Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita also emphasize these 2 commandments. Fix your mind on me, be my devotee, and with constant worship, bow down to me with reverence. Having united with me as your highest goal, you will be mine. And the best type of yogi is one who feels for others, both in pain and pleasure, as he feels for himself. Loving God with all your mind entails turning one's focus away from the senses and onto God, giving him full concentrate in meditation. Every God-seeker must learn to concentrate. A prayer stated while other thoughts are running through one's head is not authentic prayer and does not capture God's attention. Yoga teaches that in order to reach the Father, one must first seek him with their entire consciousness, with complete attention. Some argue that yoga is more suited to Hindus than Westerners. This is not correct. Many Westerners today have more free time to practice yoga than Hindus do. India should gradually employ the advanced ways of Western material growth to make life easier and more liberating, while the West should learn from India the practical metaphysical methods of yoga, which allow everyone to find their path to God. Yoga is not a sect, but rather a generally applicable science that can help us locate our Father. Yoga is for everyone, both Western and Easterners. We would not argue that the telephone is inappropriate for the East because it was invented in the West. Similarly, while yoga methods were established in the East, they are not limited to the East and are beneficial to all people. Whether a person is born in India or America, they will eventually die. So, why not learn to die every day in God, as St. Paul did? Corinthians 15:31. Yoga teaches this way. A person lives in the body like a prisoner. Once they have completed their sentence, they must face the humiliation of being kicked out. So, love for the body is the same as love for a jail. We have long become accustomed to life in the body and have forgotten what it means to be truly free. Being born in the West is no reason not to pursue freedom. It is crucial for everyone to find their soul and understand their immortal essence. Yoga demonstrates the way. The soul must soar to God. Cosmic consciousness, often known as spirit or God, existed prior to the creation of the universe. Ever-existing bliss, always conscious, always new, transcending all forms and manifestations. When creation began, cosmic consciousness descended into the physical universe and manifested as Christic consciousness. Note 8. Hindu scriptures refer to Christic consciousness as Kutasha Chaitanya, the universal consciousness of omnipresent intelligence, the omnipresent, pure reflection of God's intelligence and inherent and latent consciousness throughout creation. When Christic consciousness enters man's physical body, it transforms into the soul or superconsciousness, the ever-existing, ever-conscious, ever-new bliss of God, individualized by confinement in the body. When the soul identifies with the body, it manifests as ego or mortal consciousness. Yoga teaches that the soul must ascend the consciousness ladder to return to spirit. According to yoga, the subtle spiritual centers of the brain are the abode of the soul of life and man's divine consciousness. The Sahasrara, a 1,000-petaled lotus at the top of the brain and seat of cosmic consciousness. The Kutastha, located between the brows and seat of critical consciousness. And the medullary or bulbous center, which is the seat of superconsciousness. Life and consciousness descend into the body from the highest centers of spiritual perception, passing via 5 astral spinal centers before branching out into the corporeal organs of life, sensory perception, and action. To recapture the glorious realization of one's unity with God, the human soul must reverse its descent and ascend the holy spinal route to the highest centers of divine consciousness. This is accomplished by practicing the Guru's yoga meditation practices, such as those taught in the Lessons of Self-Realization Fellowship. The secret to happiness is to be conscious of God's presence. Appreciating life is wonderful. The secret to happiness is not clinging to anything. Enjoy the scent of the flower while seeing God in it. I have maintained the consciousness of the senses exclusively so that, by employing them, I can always perceive and think of God. My eyes are designed to behold your beauty everywhere. My ears are designed to hear your ubiquitous voice. This is yoga, union with God. It is not required to travel into the wilderness to locate Him. Earthly habits will bind us wherever we go until we are released from them. The yogi discovers God in his own heart. Wherever he travels, he will carry the wonderful awareness of God's presence. Man has not only plunged into mortal sensory consciousness, but he has also become linked to its anomalies, such as greed, rage, and jealousy. Man must overcome all of these abnormalities in order to find God. Both Easterners and Westerners should break free from sensual servitude. An ordinary person may become enraged because his breakfast coffee has not been served, and he is certain that the deprivation would cause him a headache. He's a slave to his habits. The enlightened yogi is free. Everyone can become a yogi right where they are today. However, we are tempted to regard anything that goes beyond the scope of our daily routines as weird and challenging. And we don't consider how our habits will appear to others. Yoga leads to liberation. Some yogis carry the concept of detachment to an extreme. They preach that one should be able to lie on a bed of nails without difficulty, while also practicing other forms of tapasya, or physical discipline. It is true that someone who can lay on a bed of nails and meditate of God has enormous mental strength, but such accomplishments are unnecessary. It is equally possible to reflect on God while sitting in a nice chair. Patanjali, note 10, is the primary exponent of yoga. The time period in which he lived is uncertain, but many academics located in the 2nd century BCE teaches that any position, as long as it keeps the spine upright, is suitable for meditation, yogic concentration on God. It is not required to engage in physical contortions or exercises that require extreme physical endurance and flexibility, such as those advocated in Hatha Yoga. God is the ultimate aim, and we must endeavor to be cognizant of His presence. The Bhagavad Gita states, "He who absorbs himself in me, with his soul immersed in me, I consider him the most balanced of all yogis." Some Hindu yogis have shown indifference to extreme heat and cold, as well as mosquitoes and other annoying insects. This demonstration is not a prerequisite for being a yogi, but it is a natural accomplishment of the adept. Try to eliminate unpleasant elements, or tolerate them if necessary, without being affected internally. If it is possible to stay clean, there is no reason to be dirty. One can cling to life in a shack or a palace. The most fundamental ingredient in spiritual achievement is goodwill. Jesus stated, "The harvest is truly plentiful, but the laborers are few." Matthew 9:37. The people of the world seek God's gifts, but the wise seek the giver himself. Being a yogi entails meditating. When a yogi wakes up in the morning, he does not immediately consider sustenance for his body. Instead, he feeds his spirit with the ambrosia of contact with God. He is able to joyously do all of his day's tasks, fueled by inspiration, garnered from a mind that has deeply delved into meditation. God created the earth with purpose, and it is man's responsibility to improve the world according to his plan. Westerners have a tendency to go to extremes in their pursuit of new and refined material luxuries. The East is known for going to extremes in terms of contentment with what it has. There is something appealing about both the pioneering spirit of the West and the quiet and calm spirit of the East. We must pursue the middle way,